Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to address the Environment Forum 2020. I congratulate Anadolu Ajansı on bringing together such a distinguished and diverse group of participants to reflect on the media's role in the age of climate change. Dear participants, over the last 20 years, under the leadership of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Turkey has made extraordinary progress regarding environmental protection. In addition to planting billions of trees, our country launched the Zero Waste initiative to raise awareness and promote recycling. Finally, having ratified the Paris Agreement last year, Turkey remains committed to becoming carbon neutral in due time. Unfortunately, we have seen time and again how certain governments and groups have attempted to exploit environmental concerns to further their respective agendas. Some foreign governments, which are frustrated with Turkey's economic progress and growing influence in key parts of the world, have been sponsoring a disinformation campaign against nuclear power and other forms of clean energy. It is certainly ironic that some of those governments are now reversing their own policy and nonetheless telling children to wear their coats in class because they cannot heat their classrooms. It also noteworthy that the developed nations, which bear historical responsibility for global warming, continue to enjoy impunity at the expense of the right of developing nations to economic and social development. Meanwhile, against the backdrop of that smear campaign, Turkey has been taking concrete steps toward addressing its energy need in a responsible and sustainable manner. I am proud to say that most of our electricity comes from renewable resources today. We will continue to invest in renewable energy, including wind, solar, and geothermal energy, to reduce our foreign dependence, diversify our sources, and take advantage of our nation's God-given resources. Despite facing various obstacles at home and abroad, we are committed to taking all necessary steps to protect the environment in our Republic's second century, Turkey's century. In this regard, we will exercise our right to economic development and consolidate our role as a stabilizing actor and implement eco-friendly policies. Dear guests, disinformation is a particularly serious threat when it comes to the environment. Let us recall that nearly 10 years ago, certain radical groups in Turkey, backed by foreign governments, attempted to use the environment as an excuse to overthrow our democratically elected government. They disseminated completely false narrative on social media to incite violence against law enforcement, public and private property, and Turkey's conservative citizens. They spread disinformation about attempts to preserve public order. Those subversive activities were carried out under the pretext of promoting environmental protection. This is why informing the public in a responsible and truthful manner is a top priority. As you know, the Parliament just passed the social media law, a key step toward pushing back against disinformation and foreign influence campaigns. This latest step builds on previously taken measure to ensure that social media companies comply with our nation's laws and to require certain online broadcasters which act on behalf of foreign governments to acquire the necessary license and permits. We will continue to take all necessary steps to defend the Turkish public, to defend Turkish people against disinformation, psychological operations, and influence campaigns. In this regard, I applaud Anadolu Ajansı, our nation's top news source, for launching the Green Line to report on the environment, which is an area that our government has taken measured steps and made significant achievements. It is no secret that there is insufficient coverage of the environment and climate in the media. In my opinion, part of the problem is the way the media works, that there is not a lot of room for detailed discussion or technical details. Instead, we tend to focus on the symptoms: floods, heat waves, drought. I'm confident that this project will not only raise awareness about environmental protection in the public sphere, but also deliver a meaningful response to those groups that have been exploiting the environment for subversion. Ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude by thanking everyone at Anadolu Ajansı for hosting the Environment Forum. Climate change is a real threat that won't go away just because humanity chooses to ignore it. Wildfires, drought, and floods are among its current manifestations. In this sense, we are witnessing a man-made disaster in not too slow motion. As our planet runs out of time, we need to dig deep and find the best way possible to encourage action. Should the media focus on tragedies, aim to guilt people into changing their lives, play the blame game? Those are valid questions that journalists and storytellers are in the best position to answer. In this sense, I pray that this event will facilitate a meaningful and productive dialogue on the media's role and responsibilities at this critical juncture. Thank you.